Hello everyone, welcome to the video. This is my third attempt at starting this video because I filmed an intro, I was being too noisy, I filmed the next intro and I had got my comics muddled up because I'm an idiot. So hello, hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Tash McZombie, and if you haven't guessed by the title, I am doing my favourite graphic novels in primarily the Batman and Buffy universe, and I think there's one that doesn't fall into either. This was not intentional. I read comics across so many, like Marvel, DC, different characters, but the actual like physical books that I like to buy, when I was actually looking for my collection, I realised that they're all Batman related. They're not all Batman, most of them are villains. If you haven't been able to tell from my tattoos, I adore the Batman villains. I also have Harley Quinn and Catwoman, and I'm eventually going to get this middle bit finished with the Penguin and the Riddler. I've loved Batman ever since I was really little. I used to watch it all the time. I watch the films. I still watch them over and over and over. Batman is my favourite superhero, and yeah, and obviously it would make sense that most of my comics would be Batman related. As I said, a big chunk of these are also Buffy, which I'll kind of touch upon, although part of me is like, do I just make this a Batman video? Probably make more sense. We'll see. If I don't touch on the Buffy comics, it's because I've decided for this video to just do Batman. If it's going to get too long, I will go into the Buffy ones later. So yes, if you're new here, hi, as I said, I'm Tash McZombie. I have been attempting to do Vlogmas this month. I know I haven't uploaded this past week because I had all my deadlines that were due this week. They were technically due today, but I got them all handed in yesterday. I'm doing a creative writer's masters and I want to be a graphic fiction writer, hence why obviously I love graphic fiction. Well, I'd love it even if I didn't want to be a graphic fiction writer, but because that's what I'm specialising in next trimester, and it kind of makes sense for me to just sit down and be like, look at these amazing comics that I love. I'm just going to talk briefly about like what the comic's about, look at the artwork, who it's by, why I love it, just in case any of you are watching this and you're possibly, I mean, a lot of these are really old, but obviously that doesn't mean that they're still not on sale. You know, and some of you may be reading them or planning on reading them, so I don't want to give away any spoilers. So if I am showing you any artwork inside, obviously I won't show you the last page, and I won't give away too much just in case, because you never know. And I know some people will be like, well, these came out in 2008, you know, people should know, but people, you know, that's not quite how comics work or books work. So if I do give anything away for anyone, I am deeply sorry. Apologies. And if you hear any shouting from downstairs, Ivy and her friend are downstairs and they're making so much noise. Even though they know I'm filming, but they're like, bah! So yes, let's get into it. So I thought I would start with this one. This is Batman Going Sane. Now the reason I love this one is this was the first graphic novel that I bought for myself. I bought this with a gift card in WH Smith back when I was 18 in 2008. Oh, a lifetime ago. And I was out shopping with my dad. My dad is the whole reason I'm into Batman and comics in general. So, I mean, I've been reading graphic fiction and not comics pretty much my entire life. I think I learned to read from graphic novels and comics and comic strips, reading the Beano and the Dandy and all that kind of stuff, and then moving on up to things like Batman. So, you know, and I was out shopping with my dad and he was suggested, I think he was like, why don't we go look at some graphic fiction, you know, why don't you go buy yourself, like you've got enough money to buy one yourself. I mean, I've been buying like single like comics, or my dad used to buy them, so like it never was apparent for me to buy my own. Even though I read comics all the time, I was known among my friends as the person who always was in the know about comics and comic movies and comic book trivia, which don't go see any Marvel or DC movies with me because I will drive you insane and I will point out everything that is wrong. Which is probably why I don't get invited to see those movies with my friends anymore. So yes, I adore this one. So this is the front cover here. We have this beautiful picture of the Joker and his big Jokery Smile. So this one is by J.M. Diamites, Joe Staten and Steve Mitchell. Probably butchered all these names, and obviously this is from the DC universe. And then on the back here, again, we have this really cool cutout of the Joker's face. I love the Joker, he's my favourite. I mean, I have him tattooed. You can't really see him. I had here. So this follows is that, I'll read it back. So the Joker has finally done the impossible, dispatched his arch nemesis Batman in the most despicable way possible. Ding dong, the Batman's dead. Putting his life of crime and trademark look behind him, the Joker settles into the simple life, even finding time for a little romance. Now there's nothing stopping the Joker from a life of normalcy, except there's no escaping the Bat, is there? So this was written by J.M.D. Matthias, sorry, I'm probably butchering that, formerly known as the Justice League, with art by Joe Staten, world finest, The Batman Superman Adventure, and Steve Mitchell. Going sane is enough to drive a man crazy. So, as I said, the reason I love this, and you can tell that it's been well read, these are all comics. Now, the reason I picked these ones, because I have a whole cupboard full of comics, is these ones are all ones that I have read over and over and over, or I absolutely adore the artwork. So, yes, this one is basically following the fact that the Joker has finally killed Batman. So here we have the art in here. This is one of my favourite, like, Joker artworks ever. Like, to me, this just like kind of screams like classic Joker in his purple suit and his hat and like the really accentuated features on his face. So yeah, basically the Joker kills Batman, and now that Batman is dead, the Joker literally has nothing to do with his life. I mean, and he goes to live a normal for the Joker, as we see him in his big Joker boat and Joker car, a normal life. And yeah, this one really almost messed with me in a way when I first read it, because I hadn't read a storyline like this before, and it kind of follows Batman going, I mean, Batman, I don't want to give anything away, but I mean the blurb gives it away. Batman's not dead. So it goes through his whole like rehabilitation and everything, and I absolutely love this one. I mean, I have read this over and over and over for nearly 10 years now, and as I said, the artwork in this is just fantastic, and it is some of my favourite Batman artwork in here. Not that I think I've ever read one that I don't like the artwork in it, but yes, I highly recommend this one if you can get your hands on this. As I said, this was like one of the first ones I bought for myself. You know, I mean, I'd already been reading Batman and the Joker for years, as I said, my whole life, but I felt that this is also a really good starting point, I would say, if you want to get into like really just how insane the Joker truly is. I think this one is really good. So I'm kind of just gonna speed, my cats are running around, my way through this, otherwise this is going to be like an hour-long video. So the next one, which also came out in 2008, is Batman, Lovers and Madness. So this one, if you can tell in the lighting, has this really cool cover that when you hold it in the light, you can see like the Joker's like ha 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 ha, like kind of running across it, which I think is really cool. And we had this like amazing picture of the Joker coming out of all this like purple sludge. So this one is from the writer of TV's Heroes, Michael Green, Dennis Cowan and John Floyd, and has an introduction by Brad Meltzer. So this one is another Joker Origins story. Again, if you can see, if the lighting will pick it up, like we still have that kind of ha ha ha, like kind of hidden message on the back cover as well, which I think is really cool. So the artwork on this one obviously is completely different. This is like a really kind of dirty sketch, really detailed, shadowy artwork, which I absolutely love because this is so completely different. So I'll just read the blurb of this one. So early in his career as Gotham City vigilante protector, the Dark Knight has seemingly done the impossible, Crime is down, hope is up, and the people of Batman's beloved besieged home are finally sleeping easily. And for the first time in years, the hero, also known as Bruce Wayne, has found room in his haunted heart for love. We all know Batman has like the worst love life ever, but there's a wild card on the way. Known to a few lowlifes who've worked with him and walked away breathing as Jack. He's a sociopath who's found a new reason for living, to beat the Bat. His crimes display no pattern, no motive, and no remorse, and Gotham's greatest detective is powerless to stop them. Now Batman must throw away everything he thought he knew about crime fighting to battle a new breed of killer in his desperate race to stop this monster. He will become a monster himself. And when his plan is put to an end by the menace that threatens those closest goes awry, will he unleash an even greater evil? So this one is, as I said, there is so many Joker origin stories. Which obviously the first Batman film with Jack Nicholson touched on. Now this one I love because this artwork is insane, and again it's so different. I mean, I love the artwork and all of them. I'm gonna talk about that, but again, like if you look here, we still have this like elongated, stretched out, sinister face, but in like a completely different style. So it is a lot more like gritty. So I mean, I would say this one, the thing with graphic fiction is like, I mean, as I said, I went to college and studied art. So I mean, I love different types of art. That doesn't really bother me, but I know some people are really turned off by different types of artwork in their comics. So I mean, this is one definitely, if you prefer something that is much more dark, this is a really dark one. I think most of them are, it's Batman. You know, so I mean, unlike the last one, I wouldn't really class this as like a starting point. I mean, okay, we have this beautiful image here. So I mean, Batman does get really dark in this one as he first faces off Jack, aka the Joker, and then we have that cover again. So I mean, I'm not going to say too much about the plot of these, as I said, because I don't want to piss anybody off. But I would say if you are a fan of gore and this kind of more gritty art style, I would highly recommend this. I mean, this one came out in 2008 as well, but they'll still be available. I mean, because they don't stop selling comics, you know. And I think I got this one in Forbidden Planet. So, I mean, this is one that I would recommend if you like a more kind of gritty, grown-up, and you like gore, and you like the Joker, and you kind of want, like, another take on, like, a Joker origin story, I would definitely recommend this. Okay, so, I have this one, which is, oh, my friend got me this, I think. Yes, my friend, I think it's this one. She got me this a few years ago. She was an old friend from college, and this one I love. So this is a hardback to start with, and this one has like this really nice paper cover. Now this like Joker here looks a lot like kind of Heath Ledger's Joker in my opinion. I mean, when did this come out? This came out in... when did this come out? This came out in, and this is 2008 as well. God, all my comics are from 2008. Anyway, so again, this is this really beautiful cover here, which is really unnerving. And this is a Titan Books one as well. So this one is just called Joker, and this is art by Lee Bermejo, and this is written by Brian Azzarello, which I'm probably butchering. I'm really sorry. I'm so bad with pronouncing names. So I'll just read the back, the blurb. So I didn't know the particulars as to why, but he was Joker. Joker was released from Arkham Asylum. So begins the searching look at the crazed world and cracked mind of the Joker, the crowned king of Gotham City rackets. Joker is getting out of the madhouse, and though he is laughing, he is not happy. While away, his fellow rogues have sliced and diced his chunk of the pie and sold it off for scrap, thinking he was gone for good. But now Joker's back on the street and eager to make Gotham bleed like it's never bled before. During this long night of the soul, he'll cross paths with the likes of the Penguin, Two-Face, Killer Croc, Harley Quinn, the Riddler, and of course the Batman, and heaven help them all. Told through the eyes of his loyal but naive henchman Johnny Frost, Joker is a true noir crime novel, a harrowing journey into a city of rain-soaked streets, dirty sheets, and nothing but bad choices. So, this is like a really precious one for me just because of the cover and the art, and this one makes me really excited because we have the Penguin and the Riddler and we have Harley Quinn. So yes, now let me see. So as I said, the Joker in this one reminds me a lot of like Heath Ledger's Joker. So this is the kind of setup on the inside. This is the art. Again, this is one, if you do not like gore, do not buy this one, because this one is gory, and I think, yes, it is this one that has a particular, and this one has a lot of sex. So if you do not like sex and gore, avoid this. If you like sex and gore, this one is perfect, because look at Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is a stripper in this. And oh my gosh, I remember flicking through this when my friend bought me it and just like landing on this picture and being like, oh my god, she's beautiful. But this one is so gory, and I'm not gonna I mean, this is my favourite bit in the novel, and this is it's at the beginning, so I mean, but they literally skin this guy alive and put him on the stage with the pole dancers. I don't know if you can see, but like that attention to detail in these drawings is so insanely beautiful and gory. And I remember when I first read this, when I first turned to this page, I like gagged. I was like, oh my god, what am I reading? This is disgusting, but it's beautiful. I mean, so yes, so they even go into like the detail of like how they drew it. So he used pencils and inks. So we have Mike Gray, who's on inks, Patricia Mulvihill on colours, and Robert Clark on letters. So I really like that this one actually tells you who did what, because so much work went into this one. Also, we have the Joker looking like, oh my god, Hunter Thompson. Like, if you've watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas or read Hunter Thompson, you'll know that they're like that just looks like Hunter Thompson, which is amazing. So I mean, this one is, I can't fault this one at all, and I love that it becomes from this other perspective of like the Joker's henchman Johnny, which I really liked. I thought it was really different. I know in some of like the animated series, sometimes there was episodes that came across from like the Joker's like unwilling henchmen and stuff, and they were always some of my favourite. I love when they take a story and take it from someone else's point of view. So it really is like you're watching all this happening in front of you. You know, you're not looking at this through Batman's vision, through the Joker's vision, through Harley's vision. You're literally like along for the ride with this one. So I absolutely love this one. And this one to me is like a kind of one of those ones that's like more of like a collector piece with the art. Okay, so I'm actually gonna move along because some of these are like a series, so I want to talk about them separately. So I have like a whole pile here and it's like really messy. So the next one I'm going to talk about again is another one that I bought because of the artwork, admittedly. I love ones with the weird art in it, and this one was recommended to me from a friend, again, who's on the same college course. Very arty people we were. So it is, sorry, the light, this one's really shiny, so it's probably going to blind you. So this is Batman Arkham Asylum, a series house on Sirius Earth. Wait a minute. Apologies, I kept shouting there. So this was one I bought on recommendation because this was by one of my friend's favourite artists. So this is by Grant Morrison and Dave McCain. So again, sorry, this is a really shiny cover, so I'm trying to like not make it reflect the lighting. So I mean, you can see by the cover that the artwork on this one is really unique and really terrifying. This is a terrifying. I would say this one falls more into like a kind of horror genre than like action. I mean, I think a lot of Batman comics arguably fall under horror, maybe, but this one is definitely a horror one. So I'm just going to read the back of it here. I'm just going to hold it like this so I'm not blinding you. So, Arkham Asylum is a serious house on serious earth. It is a hard-hitting psychological horror story featuring Batman and virtually all the inmates of Arkham Asylum, the house for the criminally insane. Led by the Joker, the inmates Two-Face, the Mad Hatter, Killer Croc, Clayface, Scarecrow and more take over the asylum and seize control of the staff. They're willing to release the hostages, but only after one demand is met. Batman must be turned over to them and become one of their own. So this is beautifully painted by Dave McCain, the Sandman and Mr. Punch in cages, and it is written by Grant Morrison, who wrote JLA, The Invisibles and New X-Men. So this one cost me $13.99 in Forbidden Planet, and I bought this in... I didn't buy it in 1989. This one came out in 2004, but I wouldn't have bought this in 2004. Also, this is original publication copyright 1989, so I'm not sure if this one came out in 89 or 2004. So this one, as I said, is... Now, this one is very unique. This is the artwork. And it is art. It is art goals. And I'll try and show, because this one, it's not going to give a massive amount away, but Batman literally starts to become insane. And this one gives like a really big history on Arkham Asylum itself, which I absolutely loved. And as I said, this one is a horror. It also has a lot of like this, so fake artifact, where we have all these like transcripts and stuff as well. No, it has the transcript. So this has like, it also has the full scripts and notes in the back of it. If you were struggling to read it with the artwork, you would be able to read it as a script, which is really handy actually. I didn't remember it had that. So I mean, yeah, the artwork in here is insanely beautiful. So I would say this is more of one that if you're happy enough, more like, this is the Joker. Look how terrifying the Joker is in this one. So this is again one that, to be honest, I have read this, but when I first read it, I didn't read it. Look. Oh, this is so beautiful. And this one gave me nightmares. This one literally gave me nightmares. And this is the kind of one, when I first read it, I didn't read it. I remember copying this piece for college, and I did it on like planks of like wood. This is the kind of one, yeah, like, I'm just repeating myself, but I didn't read it. I just looked at the images. I just spent hours just going through this meticulously, looking at every single beautiful picture, and then I read it. I didn't read the script in the back, which I love that that's there, because I know from other people who I've like lent this to, yeah, this did come in 89 because this is the 15th anniversary edition. I just want to show you every single page in this book because it is beautiful. But when I did go over it again, that was when I sat and actually read the story, and the artwork, it does enhance the story. It enhances the horror. Like, to me, this would not be the same if a different artist had touched this, because he really just captivates the horror so perfectly in this. So this is one I would highly recommend if you're kind of like, you're not really into comics, you know, like the kind of layout of comic books, but you love horror, I would really recommend this. And if you are a lover of art, I would highly recommend this one. Okay, got all my Buffy ones. So I don't think I'm going to talk about the Buffy ones in this video, just because this video is going on for so long and it's been interrupted so many times. So I think I'm just going to stick to like DC Batman universe and maybe talk about Buffy ones in a different video, because I don't really have a favourite one because they're like an ongoing series, so I don't really know how I would go about that. So the next one I'm going to talk about again is another very arty one, and this is Arkham Asylum Madness. So this one cost me $10.99 in Forbidden Planet. Now bear in mind I bought these years ago, so I mean I don't know how much they would cost now. So this one came out in 2010, so that's when I would have bought it, because I bought this when it came out. So again, this has kind of like this shiny cover, and we have this Arkham inmate on the cover who is, yeah, it's the Joker. So this one is by Michelle Madsen and Dave Stewart. So on the back it says, "You've just spent 24 hours in the haunted house of the criminally insane. There is no escape, there is only madness. Is this the house on Haunted Hill? It is the last house on the left. It is the place that Batman's most dangerous and psychotic villains call home, and if you're cordially invited to spend 24 hours within its walls. Welcome to the Arkham Asylum Madness 97-page special, where readers will live and move and walk among the nurses, doctors, security guards and inmates. It takes a special type of person to end up here. No matter what side of the law you're on or what your job is, for when the midnight hour approaches, all hope is abandoned, and inmates and workers alike will wish for the daylight and for their sanity. Pray you get out before the darkness comes, pray you get out before your shift is over, and pray that you do not go mad." So this one is very different. And again, this one is very arty. So opening page, we have the Joker going insane, and this one is very sad from what I recall. So this one delves into the Joker's childhood. Now with the Joker and Joker stories, you cannot take anyone as like gospel, because the Joker lies. He's a sociopath, hence why there's so many different origin stories, hence why there's so many different versions. So this one focuses on Arkham Asylum being a bit more of a haunted house, and you follow the life of this young nurse who's also a young mother. And oh yeah, this one is so creepy. Again, if you do not like gore, then this is not for you. This is again not for the light-hearted, this one. Now, this one I kind of didn't really get along with when I first read it. And I love it now. But, and this is a personal thing, was I didn't really like the artwork once I started reading it. But then I also love it. Like, there's moments like here, like the Joker. Really, I find it quite hard for any artist to do the Joker wrong, in my opinion. I love him, and I think it's this one. Yeah, so here we have, like, in this one, Harley Quinn is so different. She has dreadlocks, she's kind of, just looks so different, and Poison Ivy is very green. Now, I have a painting I did of Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn from this comic book that's in my cupboard. And it was one of those ones that I had, I think because I'm such a diehard Harley Quinn fan, that whenever I see a new take on Harley Quinn, now as I said, this is a personal thing. I remember years ago I posted a huge rant about Arkham Asylum, the game, because I hated what they did to Harley Quinn in that game. I'm just a bit like, I love old school Harley Quinn in her cat suit and the way that she was. I'm just a bit funny with that. Like, my tattoo is like old school Harley, and that's just a personal preference. So I think when I first read this, I honestly was like, I couldn't get, I just struggled with it. like, because I think Harley Quinn is like such a gangster in this. But then I love what she's done with the other villains. Like, you know, she's this amazing, well, I say she, he, well, colours by Michelle Madsen and Dave Stewart, and it was written and drawn by Sam Keefe. Apologies. It's kind of like, the artwork in this is so unique, and this is another one like Arkham Asylum and Joker. This is the one that I bought purely because the artwork was different. And again, this is another one, if you prefer horror, if you like something that's more psychological, I would really recommend this. Like, if comic books aren't your thing, but they are something maybe you want to get into and expand upon, this is another one that I would recommend for any horror fans. So this video is getting so long, so I'm going to try and, I have such a big pile here. So my next one, which is the polar opposite of the past three I've just talked about, is Harley and Ivy. Yay! So this one follows Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy on all of their adventures. We have them here on the back. Don't kill me for saying this, but I had 2 copies of this along with 2 copies of Harley Quinn, because I was given them by 2 separate friends. And my wedding invitations, I took the one, it was from this guy I didn't even like. He was like a total creep, so I didn't mind cutting it up, but I cut this up into like little love hearts, and that was like my wedding invitations. So this one came out in 2009, 2007, 2001, 2004. So this one is very much old school Harley Quinn, very reminiscent to TV series Batman, and this one again has different artists in it. So here we have a page with very much animated series Harley and Ivy and their beautiful friendship. And in here we have, again, we've got Catwoman and Two-Face, and it's a completely different art style. Sorry, Catwoman, that's Batgirl. Batgirl. Oh my god, this is embarrassing. You know, so these are like a series of different stories, and again, like, the art changes throughout this, which I love because there's so many different writers and artists in here. So this is by Paul Dini, Judd Winnick, Bruce Timm, Joe Chiodo, and I adore Poison Ivy because she puts up with so much shit from Harley Quinn, you know, and this to me was so empowering because this is like when she's trying to get Harley to get away from the Joker, get out of this relationship. You know, they're kind of touching on like the lesbian storyline between them both, and they're just out being kick-ass females, fighting Batman, fighting the Joker and their little Harley-copter, and I adore this one. So this one is definitely, if you enjoy the animated series, if you enjoy this kind of more comic, like, I don't want to say childish, because it's not childish, like, it's not, but if you prefer this kind of animated style, you would definitely love this. This is very kick-ass woman, so I really recommend this. This is a really easy read if you're just getting into comics as well. I think this is a really fun and easy one to get into. So Gotham's femme fatales are at it again. The sexy madcap supervillain duo of Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy plan to take down Batman once and for all in this I'm dyslexic, okay? Funny volume. But first, Harley has to convince Ivy that she has what it takes to be a villain in Gotham City. Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, 2 of the masterminds behind Batman the Animated Series, join forces in this volume, collecting the mini-series Batman, Harley and Ivy. Also included is the painted special Harley and Ivy Love On the Lamb by Judd Winnick and Joe Chiodo, plus a newly coloured story from Dini and Ronnie Del Carmen. So as I said, this one obviously is reminiscent to the animated series. It's by the creators of the animated series. and I adore the animated series. My daughter, we have them all on DVD. We have watched them hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, and we never get bored of them. So this one is a really fun one. Definitely one if you prefer something a bit more light and fun, I really recommend. So, keeping with the animated series, we have Harley Quinn's appearance, and this is Batman's Mad Love and Other Stories. And this one is by Titan Books. This cost me $14.99 when I purchased it, and this one came out in... I think the actual book came out in 2009, but there's material from the 90s. So again, this one is by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. I'm yawning away, and I love Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. As I said, I absolutely adore the animated series. I still watch them today. I watched them every weekend as a kid, and I love the comics equally. So, the award-winning adventures of psychotic clowns and the women who love them. Bruce Timm and Paul Dini were two of the masterminds behind the Emmy Award-winning Batman the Animated Series. Their first comics collaboration, The Batman Adventures Mad Love, garnered tremendous critical acclaim and won the 1994 Eisner and Harvey Awards for Best Single Story. The following year, they received another Eisner for their work on the Batman Adventures Holiday Special. Now, these incredible collaborations and more are collected here as the duo of Dini and Timm dive deep into the world of the Dark Knight with thrilling tales of dangerous Danes and demons and death traps. And again, this is one, if animated series lovers, obviously, this is very reminiscent to 90s Batman, and it is 90s Batman, and this is very much action, kabow, blam, pow, so much fun, you know. It is, and like the artwork as well is beautiful, like this kind of noir style artwork that the animated series had in it as well. We also have the story of, you know, Harley and the Joker meeting, which is just, Harley Quinn's my favourite character. And, you know, so, of course I'm biased. But again, we have all, like, the different covers from them before each story continues. So this is a collaboration. And this, again, is one that I would say if you have, like, a younger sibling or a child who is a bit older, you know, I don't know, from age 10 and up, I would say. Some people might disagree. I mean, Ivy Rose would I would let Ivy Rose read this in all honesty. And she's 8. I also love this one here when we've got like Harley and the Joker and their little kids in their house. I think it's adorable. So this is definitely one I would recommend. I mean, I'm 27. I do think how old I was there. And I still love reading this. I still watch loving the animated series. So if you remember the 90s animated series, I would highly recommend this. And obviously Harley and Ivy as well. So, oh my god, I have so many still to talk about. Moving on. I'm going to kind of whiz through these now. So, I have Batman Joker's Asylum Volume 2. So, twisted tales from your favourite lunatic. Filled with darkness, violence, and most notably, complete and utter madness. Arkham Asylum is an institution overrun by its inmates. So who better to act as your guide than its most infamous and least sane patron? Join the Clown Prince of Crime as he relates 5 more tales of villainy, destruction and lunacy, all told from his comfortable accommodations at Arkham Asylum. Stumble down the rabbit hole with the Mad Hatter, help the Riddler solve the mystery of love, watch as Killer Croc takes a bite out of Gotham, adore Clayface return to the silver screen form, and even tag along in Harley Quinn's search for the Joker himself. Just be careful that you don't end up in a padded room of your own. A murderer's row of writers and artists including Landry Quinn, Walker, Keith Giffen, Bill Sienkiewicz, Joe, oh good god, Quinones, Keely Jones and more. It's committed to reveal these lurid tales pulled from the demented mind of one and only Joker. So I like this one again because this is kind of like another one of those light-hearted ones, and we always say have my babe Harley. I love this story of Harley trying to find the Joker on Valentine's Day. So this basically follows the Joker is sitting in the asylum and he's telling you these tales of his inmates. I mean, we have the Joker here on the back looking so dapper and handsome. So this one cost me $10.99 in Forbidden Planet, and this one came out in 2010. So that's when I would have bought it. And then look at this cover of the Mad Hatter. The Mad Hatter terrifies me. So again, we have lots of different art styles across the different tales. I mean, I've yet to find volume 1. I think I found it online and it was so expensive. Oh wait, no, I do have volume 1. I just don't have it to hand. I do, because my volume 1 got ripped. So ignore me. I do have volume 1. I just don't know where it is, and it did get ripped. That's how I know I have it. So this again is another kind of fun one. If you are more interested in stories of villains, which I am, if you couldn't tell, because most of these are villain based. So this is one I would recommend. It's just kind of fun. Lots of different short stories kind of introducing you to some of the most notorious villains in the Batman universe. Okay, moving on. So this one's quite a popular one. This one's quite famous, and this is Batman, the Man Who Laughs. I do have Killing Game. I don't have it to hand. As I said, 3 bookcases worth of books just shoved in the cupboard. So, which I think this is the one. I have a friend who has like a Joker tattoo as well. And whenever we'd go out in clubs, we'd be like, Joker Squad, because we're really lame. Anyway, so this is the front cover here, and this is the back cover. So we have the Joker pointing a gun, and it's really awesome. Again, this is kind of like a classic Joker terrifying artwork, and this one cost me $10.99. So I would just quickly read the blurb on this one. So even at the beginning of his crime fighting career, the Batman has already seen plenty of humanity's dark side, but it's nothing compared to what's about to emerge, giggling from the shadows, a grinning chalk-faced figure whose madness threatens to overwhelm everything that stands in its way. For Gotham City's new defender, the first encounter with the creature called the Joker will be the ultimate trial by fire, a battle that will define his long struggle against the forces of chaos and insanity. Years later, those same forces will erupt again from a wholly unexpected direction, and ghosts of the past, both good and evil, will have to face the harsh light of inquiry before they can finally rest. So this is another Joker origin. So this is from award-winning writer Ed Brubaker from Gotham Central Captain America. He returns to Gotham's mean streets for the 2 riveting tales of the world's greatest detective, accompanied an acclaimed artist, Doug Mahanke, oh my god, I'm really sorry, I'm so bad with names, who wrote on JLA and The Mask, Patrick Zurcher, Nightwing and Iron Man, and Aaron Sald, The Batman Chronicles and The Uncanny X-Men. So this one has a really big writer-artist cast. So again, this is another Joker origin. And as I said, there is so many. So this one is, I would argue that this one is a bit darker than Going Sane or Love and Madness. No, Love and Madness. This one's a lot darker, but it's quite similar, like in the kind of animation style. I mean, graphic drawing style. I'm trying to find. So this one, yeah, follows the kind of Joker origin story. Talking for so long story of when he was like in the iron, like the red mask, the red hood. Which has been done like over and over. So this one also features the Green Lantern. Well, the Green Lantern. Yeah. For some reason I thought he was Marvel. He's not Marvel. I am so exhausted for talking for so long. So this one, I would say, I like this one obviously because it's in my favourites. But this isn't my favourite Joker origin. I love this one because I think to me this kind of screams like the era of Batman and the Joker that I love. I love the work in this. this one is really popular for a reason, because it is an excellent origin story, but it's not my favourite origin story. I prefer Love and Madness because it brings more humanity to the Joker. Not that the Joker has any humanity really in him, but this is one that is kind of like a cult classic. At least I think it is. I mean, I know so many people who own this one. I know lots of people who have artwork of this one, who have tattoos of this one, and for good reason. It is an excellent one. I mean, this one came out in 2008. God, all my comics come out in 2008. And this is so good. I mean, it is from like this kind of really gritty gang violence kind of side of Arkham, which I do enjoy. And I would say this is more of like, when I think of Batman graphic novels, this is one of the ones that would come to mind, because to me this is from like that kind of classic era, you know, and I'd say like Joker's Asylum kind of falls under that as well. So I mean, this isn't my favourite out of my favourites. Like, this is out of this pile is probably my least favourite, but it is still one I have read over and over again, and I do enjoy it, and it is one that I do recommend to people over the other one, just because this artwork I feel is what people kind of relate to a bit more. So I mean, this is one I've lent to so many friends who want to get into like the more kind of gritty side and learn more about the Joker, and I think this is a good starting point. Oh, this is so long. Okay, moving to my... Actually, no, I'm going to do this one last because it's my ultimate favourite. So this is another one that I bought more based on the fact that it is beautiful art and is more of like a collector's item. And this is Batman Through the Looking Glass. And this is by Bruce Jones and Sam Keefe. And this is Batman and the Mad Hatter. And this one is terrifying. This is a horrible story. So this is the back of it here. Again, this is like a hardcover. It has this really nice kind of shiny cover on it. This one cost me $16.99 in Forbidden Planet. So, twinkle twinkle little bat, how I wonder what you're at. Bruce Jones and Sam Keefe bring you Batman's most bizarre mystery yet. Gotham is shocked by the murder of prominent politician Humphrey Tweedle. But for the clues of this mystery lead Batman to the most unexpected place of all, the fabled Wonderland. What's even more unsettling is Batman's guide through Wonderland, Celia Bruce, Wayne's childhood friend. No, Celia, Bruce Wayne's childhood friend. Who assumes the role of Alice. Batman's most trusted companions, Alfred and Robin, the boy wonder, fear that he has been drugged, which is causing the Dark Knight to experience the most vivid hallucinations. What hope could Batman possibly have to solve this case if he can't trust his mind? The Mad Hatter appeared in the animated series, and that was my first like exposure to him, and he terrified me in that, and he terrifies me even more in this one. This one came out in... This one came out in 2011, so yeah, and I think I bought it that year, so I was 21 when I got this. And this is written by Bruce Jones and Sam Keefe, and it is the art is by Sam Keefe, colours by David Baron, letters by Steve Wands, and covers by Sam Keefe. This one, the artwork in this one is very unique. I mean, look at Batman's wee shock face and the bunny. Now, admittedly, I bought this one because I love Alice in Wonderland. But this one terrified me. This one gave me nightmares, and I have read it a couple of times, and I love it because it terrified me so much. But this is it's so dark. And I'm not gonna say what happens in it, because it's definitely one I feel like you kind of have to read it yourself to believe it. So, I mean, there's so much Alice in Wonderland art in this. This is a beautiful art piece. And if you like Alice in Wonderland, you will love this. But it will ruin your childhood. It will ruin your childhood. This one will ruin your childhood. That's all I'm going to say is... Although this one may come across like, oh, it's Batman, Wonderland, it may come across a bit more lighthearted, it's really not. It's really dark. So I would say, again, this is not for the faint-hearted. Okay, this is turning into an hour-long video. So, my favourite series in the Batman universe is, surprise, surprise, Gotham City Sirens. I don't think this is all of them. It might be. So these aren't in order. 2 of them. I do think there's more, but these are the first 3 I picked up. And I love these so much. So these follow the lives of Poison Ivy, Catwoman and Harley Quinn, who all live together and go fight crime. So this one is Songs of the Sirens. As I said, I honestly don't think this is all of them. I'm pretty sure there is more. Strange Fruit. And then Division. This one I couldn't get in a hardback, which pissed me off. So each one actually follows each character in their own kind of story arc. Like Catwoman has this really big revealing story on her background and her family, and it's really, really fascinating. Harley Quinn, obviously in Division, they're trying to get her away from the Joker and separate him from him for once and for all. And Poison Ivy has this really fascinating story. And it's also very comical, the way that they all live together. They work with the Riddler to fight Batman. These are honestly so empowering. There is all these fucking kick-ass women who go kick-ass in this male-dominated little world. And they rule in the way that they all look after each other. Their friendship, it is amazing. So highly, 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 highly recommend going and buying these. They are a series. I think there is more than the 3 I have shown you, because as I said, I didn't rip out every single book in my cupboard. But I'm not going to go into them just because this clip of this video alone is half an hour. This is an hour-long video, and that is terrible. So I'm going to talk very quickly about my favourite one ever, which obviously is Harley Quinn. Surprise, surprise. I mean, of course, Harley Quinn is my favourite. So the Joker's main squeeze, out on her own and out of her mind. This one helped me through a lot. So this is Preludes and Knock Knock Jokes. And this is written by Carl Kiesel, pencils by Terry Dodson with Craig Rousseau, inks by Rachel Dodson with Wayne Foucher, colours by Alex Sinclair, layers by Ken Lopez, original series cover by Terry and Rachel Dodson, Harley Quinn created by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. When I bought this, and this is my tattoo. This is my tattoo I have of Harley Quinn on my arm. I ended up not getting the Joker with the bullet in his head. I was going to, but then we decided just to do her. And then I had like lyrics from 6 AM, Life is Beautiful, like in the gun smoke. So this is the one I have tattooed on my arm, because when I first read this, I just came out of like a really abusive, horrible relationship. And I just went, it was kind of like a pick-me-up, and I picked this up. Pick me up, pick me up. I treated myself to this comic, not really quite realising how empowering this was going to be for me, because this follows Harley finally ditching the Joker, realising she's better, realising he treats her like shit, and as she goes through the struggles of that breakup, of finding her own 2 feet, of forming friendships, of trying not to get with him, trying to get her back, and really becoming more than this beat up sidekick. And this spoke to me so much because I've been in lots of horrible abusive relationships, and this really did help me actually discover a lot about myself. And I'm not going to go into that because I'm not going to make this video really depressing, which probably already is because it's so long. And this came out in 2000 and 2001. I didn't buy it then, obviously. I mean, I bought this way later. I bought this like, I don't know, 7 years ago or something now. And this is the kind of one, I mean, obviously I'm married and I'm happy and stuff now, but this is one I pick up a lot when, if I ever feel down on myself or feel like I can't do something, I always think of this one. And I absolutely love this, and I would say this is one if you want something that is about an empowering female, but also like the kind of realistic struggles that come with that. I highly recommend this one. This is my ultimate favourite comic book of all time. And Harley Quinn is my favourite character ever. So yes, this video ended up being a lot longer than I planned. I literally planned to just pick them up and be like, Harley Quinn by blah 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 blah. City Sirens by blah 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 blah. I didn't actually expect to go look inside at this beautiful artwork. Here's a list of all the people. Here's why I love this one. So I will try and edit this to make it shorter. I can't guarantee you will. So if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. If you've read any of these, comment down below with your opinion and what you thought of them. If there's any that you think I would love based on this, comment below and recommend them. If I haven't read them, I will go and find them. Sorry that the lighting has just like dipped because the sun is literally setting outside and it's getting really dark here. So if you have made it to the end of this video, comment down below with a little bat emoji so I know that you've survived. I'm sorry for it being so long, but I obviously had a lot more to say about these comics than I thought I did. So thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up. It would mean the world to me. And if you're new here, hi, sorry it's such a long video and most of my videos are long and rambly, but please hit that subscribe button down below. I would love to have you here, and I hope you all have a great day and are keeping well, and I will see you tomorrow in my next video. Bye.